Hey, friends, family, and loved ones. This is part two of what I started today on May 6th. And just wanted to share a few things and some synchronicities, synchronistic winks. And it's all about love and it's all about you because it has always been you and all this love for you. And so I was looking at my phone last night and yeah, I don't know. It's just been like really strange. Kind of feeling pulled in all directions sometimes, and coming back to my center and just letting go and trusting like what is and where I'm going to be led and all of that. And it just kind of got a nudge like, just look at your pictures, look in your little gallery and stuff. And so I just got led to certain messages that have been sent to me and came across this one that says, "Please do not doubt how deep and ancient your soul is, dear sister. You have served the awakening of all for lifetimes." And then the next one, "What you want also wants you, but it can't find you if you're hiding in the shadows, giving away your power, wearing a disguise to conceal your true self. It can't find you if you're pretending to be something you're not. Abundance can't find you if you're hiding behind scarcity. Love can't find you if you're hiding behind self-loathing. Peace can't find you if you're hiding behind worry. Your dreams can't find you if you're dimming your own light. It's time for you to step out of the shadows, to release everything you're carrying that doesn't belong to you. Lack, worry, unworthiness, stress, fear, self-criticism, that feeling of never being enough. You are more than worthy, more than enough, more than you've ever allowed yourself to believe. So step forward, shine your light, allow everything you've been seeking to find you." I thought that was beautiful and was like, yep, I so needed that. And that is by Xana Keithley from Moonomens. So, yeah, someone had sent me that. A friend had sent me that. So I super appreciated seeing that last night. And those beautiful reminders I always value because they're good for me to remember. It's so easy to forget sometimes. Um, when we get pulled from our center, yeah, that's when we forget. And so this coming back home, welcome home, you know, it's okay to forget. It's okay to dance. It's okay. Yeah, to remember that it is like all a dance. And yeah, so we just had Beltane and I gave away some colorful ribbons. And I love what that means. Like the maypole. The pole is obviously a phallic symbol to represent the masculine and the potency of God. And the ring at the top of the maypole is to represent the goddess's fertility and all that she holds, that circle. And then the ribbons, the colorful ribbons that, yeah, that people dance, take the ends and they dance and they do their little twisty, spirally dance. Yeah, no, that relates to the energies and the spiral of life. And let's see, there's a little article that I have. I love how this author expressed it. So the maypole, yeah, the maypole is a popular and familiar image of May Day and Beltane. A phallic pole, often made from birch, was inserted into the earth, representing the potency of God. The ring of flowers at the top of the maypole represents the fertile goddess. Its many-colored ribbons and the ensuing weaving dance symbolize the spiral of life and the union of the goddess and God, the union between earth and sky. And so I've been contemplating those things lately and choosing that love for me, choosing to heal the division and the split within me, choosing to bring the heart and the mind like together as one and unify, yeah, through that center, through that love, through that inner fire, you know. And so I love all those symbols and those messages that help remind me like that about that union, that sacred marriage within. And I know that, like, individually and collectively, we've all felt like that pain of the division and that split, that fragmentation. And so, like, there's a part of me that feels like kind of like just done already, like enough already, enough is enough already, just heal the split within yourself, like, and so that's what I get to choose for me and allow the parts of me that aren't accepting or that aren't as willing to forgive, or that are afraid to forgive, or that are afraid to let go. And yeah, accepting the parts of me that are unaccepting, and knowing that it's all part of the same whole, and knowing that it's okay. It's okay to let go. And so I shared a little bit on Sunday with some of my friends that came to Beltane from this book. It's called Womb Wisdom. And there was a meditation exercise and a visualization that I read a couple years ago and practiced for a little while. And it's from Living from the Heart Womb. And I thought that there was some beautiful words before this little description of this exercise that I wanted to share first. I wanted to include. And so, to realize innocence is to be reborn of spirit, moving beyond the first birth of the flesh. This takes complete self-responsibility. By assuming the kingly mantle of total responsibility, one realizes God and lives in love. Nothing is outside, and nothing causes you to react in an unloving way. As you know, it is you. This world is made for your reflection. The world is you. You are the world, and all the relations you have are also you. You are everywhere. There is nowhere you are not. Can you handle that? Everything you feel, everything you react against, all your relations mirror part of you. In fact, you can say this world was created by you, for your own growth, and eventually your own amusement and joy. Taking complete responsibility means taking responsibility for the soul, the spirit, those around you, and eventually the world. This does not have to be a loud, overt, screaming out to the rooftops action. It can be quiet and equally as effective. To be responsible for those around you does not mean you take away their responsibility and render them weak and dependent. No. To be responsible for those around you means that you ask them to also realize they have no holes, graspings, attachments, and needs, and that they too are self-responsible. And yet you still take on that responsibility to point out truth to them with love, penetrating them deeply, yet with softness. Then the purpose of all relationship previously based on need becomes clear. The purpose of all relationship is simply to share and give love, for in loving another, you are but loving yourself. Divine selfishness. You constantly are making the one self feel love and feel good, the one self that you and all others share. If you are feeling it, then so are others in some way, and yet you are still alone and content by yourself. As the Upanishad puts it, it is not for the sake of the husband that he is loved, but for one's own sake that he is loved. It is not for the sake of the wife that she is loved, but for one's own sake that she is loved. It is not for the sake of the sons that they are loved, but for one's own sake that they are loved. It is not for the sake of all that all is loved, but for one's own sake that all is loved. The self, my dear, should be realized. And it is through hearing, reflection, and meditation that self, with a capital S, and all is known. Emptiness goes hand in hand with self-responsibility. Together they lead to truth dissolving or healing all things, all parts of self. All denial gets embraced, all judgments become forgiven, let go of, and laughed at. All abandonment gets reunited, all isolation becomes surrendered, all betrayal becomes trust, faith, and knowing. Living from the heart womb. To live in the third spiral means that your center has dropped completely into the womb heart and you are living from this space. Dropping your sense of reaction and response down into the womb is a much more silent, still place than the ever-active mind. Become aware of which center you are speaking from, thinking from, feeling from. Do you feel it from the mind, or do you feel it from the heart? Or are you feeling it from the heart and mind united? Be aware of this every day. The more you are simply aware of this, the more your attention can descend down into the quiet, still, peaceful strength of the womb. To do this requires focusing on your heart and your belly with both your hands and breath for 5 minutes each day. Try this now. So connecting with the womb heart. 1. Place one hand over the heart and one over the womb. These are a woman's two hearts. Feel a figure 8 of gold light connecting your two hearts. It will give you a quiet strength when you feel caught in suffering or despair, or when you simply need to go within. 3. Now breathe gently into your womb. Sound the Aramaic sound Melet, M-E-L-E-E-T. Me on the in-breath, Leet on the out-breath. Melet means completeness, fullness, the complete circle of the womb. Now breathe gently into your heart. Sound the Aramaic word Min Bisha. Min on the in-breath, Bisha on the out-breath. Min Bisha means ripeness, fruition, as when a ripe fig or apple is blooming, ready to be plucked and eaten fresh from the tree, full of goodness, bursting with juiciness, vitality, and life force. 5. Now sound them both together. Melet, Min Bisha. Connect them both with the breath and in the infinity or figure 8 loop. Eventually you will feel a beat in your second hand echoing the heartbeat in your first hand. Complete immersion, the bridge to full empowerment. The collected memories of the feminine are stored in the womb as thought forms that need clearing by each one who enters, leaves, and serves the space. The history of woman is here, the abuses, the empowerment, and the healing. Also your abuses, your empowerments, and your healing. In the womb, one plunges into the feminine ocean. The womb guards death, the biggest hole in the psyche, the greatest thing we avoid. The hole in your being, the loneliness of the gap, the absence felt within you, is the avoidance of death. Your fear and avoidance of death create a gap in awareness that creates a longing in the heart. This gap is the seed of all fear, and it's dissolving also. Around this hole where personality is structured, the core of the ego that guards death and time, to become aware of your biggest secret, death, and this hole is the dying of your fear. When the debris and patterning from your cells are cleared out through its arising to the surface, then the womb can realign to its new blueprint. This residue, as decay within the body and womb, has to be released for full ascension to happen. It is not enough to release it merely from the body-mind. The experience of void and the womb is the start of that development and remembrance of your true nature and the stepping out of the world of fear. If a person can experience space, then their true nature will arise spontaneously. If you really aspire to be transformed, to be a light unto yourself, then the first act is of total immersion and totality in this quest. Do not do things in half steps. If you want to do something, do it the whole way. One totality transforms. Only at full intensity can you transmute from the ordinary to the extraordinary. If you feel miserable, stay with it, experience it fully. Do not escape it in any way, as you are denying yourself a truth. Simply be with it, be grateful for it no matter what occurs. Turn it into meditation. In staying with the feeling and intensity with no judgment on the situation, the pain will spread. Allow it to run through. It is cleansing and preparing you for the sweetness of the black light. Accept it, welcome it, and be grateful. When you accept the pain and suffering with no judgment on what it is, in humility and with patience, the energy instantly begins to transform. Whenever anything is total, it transforms into its opposite. Your suffering now becomes your portal of initiation, your blessing, your doorway to your heart's desire. Now it is a time of remembering. In the third spiral, one faces a turning point of life and death, of death to the old identity of you, and new life to a new you that is free and innocent of the conditionings, expectations, and bondage of the old you. The path of eternal life is very much one of death, progressive and successive deaths. Each death is a rebirth. Death reminds you that you are mortal, reminding you to get up and experience life now. With death on your shoulder, one cannot ignore life and what it presents you with any longer. Absence reminds you of the amazing potential for total presence. This is what the best spiritual teachers do. Reveal their absence to facilitate you into presence, or bewilderment, as the case may be. The third spiral holds life and death in each hand. It holds a space for life to reveal, create, and generate itself, and holds a space for death to conceal, dismantle, clothe, and dissolve forms and ideas. This is found by holding your breath between your inhale and exhale. When you do this for long enough, you experience this point between life and death, and the fear that lies here also. This is dangerous, radical, holy, and sacred, the bridge to full empowerment. And that is from the third spiral of Womb Wisdom by Padma and Anaiya Prakasha. And then there's this next little part here on the next page that says the importance of gratitude and beauty. And yeah, that's what I'm all about right now too. So we have spoken earlier of the importance of experiencing gratitude as we move forward in this journey. In gratitude, we realize that we cannot get love, we can only receive it, and we can only fully receive it by giving it away. To have all, give all. In this, we realize that there is no source by which to get love. There is only the choice to abide in gratitude and extend love. To choose kindness is to choose gratitude, as it shows that you value the kindness that you have been given in order to exist and even have the blessing of having a body. God has extended the kindness to you. And now, to receive more of this kindness, we have to give it away in action to our fellow beings. To be truly happy is to live in gratitude. Living in gratitude and in grace means accepting whatever comes our way. Whatever comes one's way, both good and bad, with thankfulness. There is no exception to what one can be thankful for, as gratitude wears down our resistance to conflicts, humbles us, and brings us into joy and oneness as we start to see that if we thank and bless all things in our life, we enter a state of peace with kindness to all. The knowledge that we can die any moment and that death is our ally, teacher, and friend leads to deeper appreciation and gratitude. In the blessing of this moment of life, as we have it today, in the conflict that arises, in the unfortunate circumstances that happen, there is a lesson for our soul that we have created in order to find the peace of the open, giving heart as it blesses and receives all things equally through the focus of gratitude and appreciation. This heart makes all things full, and by thinking it, emptying it of any resentment, frustration, or thoughts of harm. This leads to beauty. Beauty results from one's perception and not just from the person, place, object, or emotion perceived. Beauty arises from the clarity of our own perception. What we often describe as beautiful is an interpretation, one that has been taught to us, a perception that one thing is beautiful and another is ugly. To see beauty is to see things as they are and to appreciate something simply for what it is, for its purpose in creation, and how it fits into the whole scheme of life. In seeing beauty, we see beyond the conditioned senses and see the life force, the shimmering light in all life. To see beauty, we see with the heart and connect to what we are seeing and communicating with through the heart. When we truly see reality, it is beautiful as it involves no judgment, no naming or identifying with things, no past history or conditioning. We see in the present moment with empty mind and open heart. This reality can be experienced through the senses only when the mind stops interpreting what it is experiencing. For the mind constantly gives a commentary on everything that with which it comes into contact, avoiding the direct experience of what actually is. Therefore, we cannot experience directly what is. Without the mind's interpretation and commentary, we can see the beauty in the rotting pile of dung lying on the street, as everything becomes a reflection of what you think yourself to be. If you have no judgment about the value of something as opposed to the value of something else, then you can appreciate the nature and utility of all things. In true beauty, we do not exclude anything but embrace everything as living reflections of our nature, reflections that serve a vital purpose to show us where our mind still judges and misunderstands. Heaven is not somewhere else, it is right here in this perception. Beauty is not about how a person, place, object, or emotion looks or feels. It is about how you, the one who is looking, feels. The beauty that we experience out there is a direct reflection of the beauty of what is happening inside you. When you are in a state of joy and feel uplifted, everything appears beautiful to you on the outside. This feeling naturally leads us towards being kind and extending this kindness and beauty to others in tender, receptive presence, leading to harmlessness. For those who wish to embody this reality, you will go through a stage of being the vessels of sweet sorrow, of empathy and compassion, the ones on the planet who cry to relieve the suffering of others, feeling their sadness, pain, and distress. Here, we do not cry for ourselves, but for everyone as a service to humanity in order to release them. When we cry these tears to relieve the sufferings of others, we also get transformed by feeling the pain of the whole world. Yeah. And that was from The Web of Life and Womb Wisdom. So, wow. Beautiful book, and it always comes back to me at the right time, right when I need it. And so, I hope it blesses you too. And I'm just putting this bookmark in here for some reason. Birthing into Spirit on page 108. And so, maybe I'll share a little bit about that next time. But yeah, thanks for listening. And there are like a couple of things I wanted to share from my journal. We'll just open it up. Yeah. Today I was feeling a little bit, some sadness and some grief coming up, and some of this old residual stuff that I'm letting go of, just watching and witnessing and observing it as it comes up. And just allowing myself to express it and surrender it and release it and just be with it too, and allowing myself and sending that love to myself as I'm going through it. And just wrote a little bit about all the good things in my life and all the things I'm excited about, like all this creativity, all these blessings, prayers, well wishes, and intentions that I get to choose for me. I choose love, I choose joy, I choose wholeness, I choose peace, I choose forgiveness, I choose grace, I choose ease, I choose compassion, I choose well-being, I choose unity, I choose being, I choose well-being, I choose truth and I choose integrity, I choose acceptance and I choose to be free. I am sovereign, I am right to be all this love I need for me. Practice non-attachment and receptivity. I choose joy, I choose happiness, I choose this freedom to be. True to myself, true to my love, true to my knowing, true to my peace. I am the unity of peace. This is my generosity to me. Some feelings of sadness, grief, overwhelm, nervousness, disappointment, anxiety, expectation, and resentment coming up to be seen. I'm just aware of these, and I'm allowing them to be met, felt, honored, acknowledged, allowed to be, without the need to resist them, stuff them, fix them, or change them, to medicate myself or distract or run away from them. And I've also seen, some other things coming up to the surface around old programming and stories related to lack, fear, and enoughness. And it's just like that comparison and the one right way. like all those old stories. And so, yeah, it's easier to see certain things now as they come up and just let them fall away and can make that choice for myself. Oh, thank you. Thank you for showing me what power I actually do have and what I can choose for me right now. And so there's a part of myself that feels so hurt and so forlorn, doesn't want to forgive all the unkindness and that's related to persecution and those wounds, being outcast, discarded, devalued, judged, slandered, betrayed, and condemned. So I will forgive this part of myself and love, include, allow that part of myself. Love always. Why does it hurt so much? Such pain, sorrow, shame, and grief. I just want to give it all away. I want to give it back, all this hurt and pain. It is no longer mine to carry. But I'm sorry for rejecting and denying this wounded part of myself. I forgive myself. I accept myself. I am one at peace within myself. Concordia, harmony, peace, and presence. After such a roller coaster ride, I can let it all go now. And some of the old programming I can see more clearly now. I can forgive myself and let go of comparing myself with others or comparing myself to my previous self, who I thought I was and who I believed I had to be in order to be loved and worthy, included, valued, safe, secure, worthy of belonging. Yeah, all those things. Pleasure over pressure, getting out of my own way, letting me play, letting God play, letting her play, letting life play, through all this love always. I'm allowed to change my mind. I can do everything. Practice and play. I can do anything. Let it all be. I can be nothing. Let go of all things. I am that, I am that. I am them, so be. All I am, all this love for thee. Let go and be free to be all I need. Thank you, life. Thank you, plants. Thank you, elements. Thank you, Earth Mother. Thank you, Creator. Thank you, love, light. Thank you, friends. Thank you, kin. Thank you, spirit of everything. Thank you, goddess. Thank you, soul. Thank you, creation. Thank you to the whole. Thank you, self. Welcome home. Pondering what really matters, what I appreciate, what I value. My time, resources, contributions, and energy. All of these things. Rest, permission, willingness, allowance, acceptance, humility, compassion, trust, faith, mercy, gratitude, and innocence, gentleness, softness, openness, and oneness, unity. The wind, the air, the water, fire, earth, lightning, sky, thunder, the elementals, the elements, the magician and the priestess, the 1, 2, 3, and the 4, Durga and her power, the tiger, fire and water, earth and sky, the maiden, the mother, the crone, the bull and the cow, Osiris and Hathor, Osiris and Isis, Sekhmet the lion and the lion heart, protection of the young and the innocent, the family and the pride, the phoenix, the peacock, the swan, the vulture, the ostrich, the robin, the snail, the turtle, the beetle, the spider, the quail, the figure 8, infinity, the heart womb, gateway, flowers, chakras, light codes, higher energies, deepening inner knowings and activating rememberings, resurrection and courage to be full and free. This is a time of deep letting go. This is a time of remembering. This is a time of fertilization. This is a time for everything to grow. Yeah. Metamorphosis, transmutation, transformation, transfiguration, letting go, letting go, letting go. Concordia, the daughter, the child, born of the union of Venus and Mars, the goddess of love and the god of war, in balance and harmony. Concord is peace and harmony, the opposites in union, alchemical marriage, heroes gamos, reunion. Oh, receptivity, trust, surrender, and remembering, praising, blessing, thanking, receiving and celebrating, connecting and reflecting, being at peace with me, letting go, letting go, letting go of everything. enjoying all the beauty always surrounding me, trusting this process to unfold in the best ways possible for all, for us, for the one whole. I trust life, I love life, and I know we are all whole, and nothing is under control, so let go. So the magic can freely unfold, and surprise, delight, and enliven the whole. Triumph and victory, courage, already manifesting, already here present, for the greatest growth of all, for the greatest growth of the soul, for the greatest growth of the one whole. Trust, surrender, receive, offer, and let it go. So a lot of letting go. A lot of letting go, letting go, letting go. It's okay to let go. It's okay not to know. And so just allowing and accepting and being in that receptivity, practicing receptivity and all this love, always. And so I did pull a few cards the other day, and I actually allowed myself some time to do that. It was actually last night. It's kind of hard sometimes because there's so much going on. Like for me, sometimes it's hard to kind of sequence things like in total linear time, in certain ways. And so like that's been an interesting little play to play with and navigate. And it's okay. Like, it works for me like lately, so it's all good. All things. The cards that I did pull for myself was the 8 of Fire and the 10 of Water and Faith and Love from Dreams of Gaia Tarot. And they were all like perfect messages that I, really, really needed to hear. And it just confirmed and affirmed, certain things for me. And some of those same messages, coming around for me. And I received some beautiful gifts of love and care that reflect my own love and care that I've been giving and offering and receiving for myself. And so it's just really amazing, to just be aware of certain things and that it is like all of this is like for us, and all of this, is through us. It's all this love through us. And so what I have it open to right now is Ace of Earth, and that was another card that did pop out. So I did put a bookmark in here. And the Ace of Earth, new beginnings, goals, motivation, desire, preparations, opportunity, education, security, potential reward, and potential consequence. Key phrases are practicality and pragmatism, starting a new financial or career opportunity, reward versus consequence, making preparations, planning for the future, material gain, and a desire for security. And so, that's interesting there. But I super appreciated all these beautiful messages and things. Here's the 10 of Earth. Synthesis, harmony, highest ideals, reward, inner peace, authenticity, grace, look within. Key phrases, a time of reward, everything is coming together, move through life with surety, understand your place and purpose, do not be daunted by change, strength gained from experience. Why do you feel a lack? Dissatisfaction and discomfort. And so, now looking at everything as a whole with what I just shared in the first part of this video, that's super interesting now that everything's coming full circle and it's showing me what I needed to see. And so, thank you for listening and for being here. There was something that I was reading right before I came downstairs to do this video, and it's from The Return of the Feminine and the World's Soul by Llewellyn Vaughan-Lee. And I had just flipped it open to page 5, and it's reclaiming her sacred wisdom. If the knowledge of the sacred feminine has been lost, how can we know what to do? Part of the wisdom of the feminine is to wait, to listen, to be receptive. A woman does not consciously know how to bring the light of a soul into her womb and help it form a body, and yet this mystery takes place within her. Nor does she consciously know how to nourish this light with her own light in the same way that she gives her blood to help the body to grow. She is the mystery of light being born into matter, and her pregnancy is a time of receptivity, waiting, listening, and feeling what is happening within her. She and the Great Mother are one being, and if she listens within, she is given the knowledge she needs. We may have forsaken this simple feminine wisdom of listening, and in this information age, awash with so many words, it is easy to undervalue an instinctual knowledge that comes from within. But the sacred principles of life have never been written down. They belong to the heartbeat, to the rhythm of the breath, and the flow of blood. They are alive like the rain and the rivers, the waxing and waning of the moon. If we learn to listen, we will discover that life, the Great Mother, is speaking to us, telling us what we need to know. We are present at a time when the world is dying and waiting to be reborn, and all the words in our libraries and on the internet will not tell us what to do. But the sacred feminine can share with us her secrets, tell us how to be, how to midwife her rebirth. And because we are her children, she can speak to each of us if we have the humility to listen. How can we listen to what we do not know? How can we reclaim what we have lost so long ago? Every moment is new. The present moment is not just a progression of past movements, but is alive in its own way, complete and perfect. And it is the moment that demands our attention. Only in the moment can we be fully awake and respond to the real need. Only in the present moment can we be fully attentive. Only in the present moment can the divine come into existence. Men may make plans, but a mother attentive to her children knows the real need of the moment. She feels in her being the interconnectedness of all of life in a way that is veiled from the masculine. She knows one cannot make plans when there are so many variables, but one can respond with the wisdom that includes the whole and all of its connections. The divine feminine is asking us to be present in life in all of its wholeness without judgment or plans. Then she can speak to us, reveal the mystery of her rebirth. And because this is a birth, the feminine has to be present, not just as an idea, but as a living presence within us, within both men and women, because although women most fully embodies the divine feminine, part of her secret is also shared with men, just as a son carries part of his mother in a way hidden from her daughters. Yet to live the feminine is something we have almost forgotten. Our patriarchal culture has denied her power and real wisdom. Our culture has sanitized her as much as it has divorced her from her magic that belongs to the rhythms of creation, but we need her more than we dare realize. However, to fully encounter the divine feminine, the creative principle of life, we must be prepared for her anger, for the pain that has come from her abuse. For centuries, our masculine culture has repressed her natural power, has burnt her temples, and killed her priestesses. Through this drive for mastery and his fear of the feminine, of what he cannot understand or control, the patriarchy has not just neglected her, but deliberately tortured and destroyed. He has not just raped her, but torn the very fabric of life, the primal wholeness of which she is always the guardian. And the feminine is angry, even if her anger has been even if her anger has been repressed along with her magic. To welcome the feminine is to acknowledge and accept her pain and anger and the part we have played in this desecration. Women, too, have often colluded with the masculine, denied their own power and natural magic, and instead accepted masculine values and ways of thinking. They have betrayed their own deepest self, but we must also be careful not to become caught in this darkness, in the dynamics of abuse, the anger and betrayal. It is especially easy for women to become identified with the suffering of the feminine, her treatment by the masculine, to project their own pain and anger onto men. Then we are caught even more securely in this web that denies us any transformation. If we identify with the pain of the feminine, we easily become an agent of her anger rather than going deeper into the mystery of suffering, into the light that is always hidden in the darkness. Because in the depths of the feminine, there is a deep knowledge that the abuse is also part of the cycle of creation. The Great Mother embodies a wholeness that contains even the denial of herself, and we need her wholeness if we are to survive and to be reborn. Real transformation, like any birth, needs the darkness as much as the light. We know that the feminine has been abused, just as the planet continues to be polluted. But the woman who has experienced the pain of childbirth, who knows the blood that belongs to birth, is always initiated in the darkness. She knows the cycles of creation in ways that are hidden to the masculine. She needs to give herself and her knowing to this present cycle of death and rebirth, and in so doing, honor the pain that she has suffered. Then she will discover that her magic and power are also being reborn in a new way, are being returned to her in ways that can no longer be contaminated by the masculine and its power drive. But without her full participation, there is the danger of a stillbirth. Then this present cycle of creation will not realize its potential. First, we need to acknowledge the suffering of the feminine, of the earth itself, or the light within. The feminine will be hidden from us. We have to pay the price of our desires to dominate nature, of our acts of hubris. We are not separate from life, from the winds and the weather. We are a part of creation, and we have to ask her forgiveness, to take responsibility for our attitude and actions. We need to go consciously into the next era, recognizing our mistakes. Only then can we fully honor and hear her. But there is always the possibility that we will not take this step, that, like defiant children, we will not acknowledge the pain we have done to our mother and will not reclaim the wholeness that she embodies. Then we will remain within the darkness that is beginning to devour all our souls, the empty promises of materialism, the fractured world of fanaticism. To take a step into maturity is always to acknowledge our mistakes, the wrongs that we have done. Next is giving birth to our own wholeness. Yeah, that's a lot to sit with and to allow to percolate. And I do acknowledge like that we have all suffered, and that's why, like, for me lately, for the last couple of weeks, it has been all about compassion and boundaries. And so, yeah, setting those boundaries and actually holding that compassion, because, you know, like, knowing that we all have been through so much and been through so much trauma, and we've been through so much abuse, and it's like almost been, yeah, it has been normalized in a lot of ways. And so just having compassion for us all, for all we've had to like deny and suppress, like, so that we could survive and keep going. But now it is time to like acknowledge that, like, and ask for forgiveness, and to be willing to forgive ourselves. And so I do, that was one of the things that I had like a really hard time with, like the feminine's betrayal of her own self, the feminine's rejection of her own self, her denial of her own self. And you know, like, that has a lot to do with where I had denied my own self and rejected my own self, and why that hurts so much. And I did write a little bit about that this week as well. And so to see if there's anything else that wants to be shared around that right now. About letting go of certain things, and letting go. Letting go of all these fears, letting go of the unknown, letting go of the known, letting go of the comfort zone, letting go of false control, letting go of the lower ego, letting go of false power and rigid structure, false control, letting go of all I think I know, letting go of all the rules I have known, letting go of what I should know, letting go of what should be or what I should do, letting go of the need to prove anything, letting go of all that keeps me safely small, letting go of all that separates, constricts, imprisons, and fragments my well-being, letting go of all judgments, attachments, roles, stories, programs, and identities, letting go of hindrances, blocks, false anchors, and insecurities, letting go of all fears and puppet strings, letting go of addictions and survival strategies, letting go of old inherited stories and control and domination programming, letting go of old beliefs and the unconscious agendas that keep me separate from the exiled, rejected, demonized, projected distortions of me, she, and we, letting go of guilt, shame, fear, pride, anger, and vanity, letting go of wrongs, letting go of pain that I no longer need to carry or burden myself with, freeing myself, loving myself, allowing myself to just be, to be received fully, freely, and completely, letting it all be, freely expressed, liberated, and freed, surrendered, and freed to be. I am this love for me. And so, yeah, letting go of all those things that kept me at war and in lack mentality, that there wasn't enough. So accepting what is and seeing the beauty in it and seeing the gift, like what it was really for me to wake up to my own potential, my own love within me, and to listen, to hear and be heard. And so, yeah, Mother's Day is coming up this weekend, and I just want to celebrate the mother and all mothers and the family, the whole. And I do forgive the masculine, and I do forgive the feminine, and I do forgive us all. I forgive myself, and I forgive, and I let go of all the wrongs. Letting go of wrongs. I wrote something about that this week as well, yeah. And so it has been all coming out, and just deeper layers and deeper, like going into deeper levels of this work. And so, yeah, it has been good. It has been really good for me, even though it hasn't felt good all the time, and it hasn't been easy. But it has been what I needed, like, so that I could transform, like, this pain within me and create this joy and this new life through the love and the light that I am and that I hold and I carry within me. So just want to wish you all love and blessings, and happy creating and celebrating life, and happy Mother's Day to all mothers out there, and to all, like, the motherly figures, maternal figures, nurturing figures, all the beauty that we have inside of us that cares for the whole, cares for that the whole self, all the different parts. So I love y'all. Be well and love yourself. We'll see you for now. Bye-bye.